let's try to move on and talk about something else. All right, the best that we possibly can. De'Aaron Fox traded to the Spurs in a deal that in every other year besides maybe 2 is the biggest trade at the deadline. Champion the $5. I'm a Suns fan and used to come to this channel all the time and tell you the Mavs should trade Luka before the value dips. Look like I was right. And see, the biggest haters are coming around saying shit like that now too. Shout out to you, Champy. Shout out to you. The San Antonio Spurs have landed their guard of the future in the form of De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin to the Spurs. The Kings get Zach LaVine, Sidy Cissoko, 3 first-round picks, which is the 2025 Charlotte first, 2027 San Antonio Spurs first, 2031 Minnesota Timberwolves first, 3 second-round picks for the Kings as well. The Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 pick from San Antonio. So immediately off the rip, you see 3 first-round picks for the Kings. That 2025 Hornets pick is heavily protected, and it's going to turn into multiple seconds. So it's really 2 first-round picks. Or 2 second-round picks. 2 second-round picks, sorry. That pick's going to turn into 2 second-round picks. So it's basically 2 first-round picks. You get 2027 Spurs first, which probably won't be good. And the 2031 first from Minnesota, which could be good down the line. You never know. This was a trade made by the Kings. And we said this was theorized elsewhere as well, but we said it here. Like, the Kings aren't making this trade in an effort to completely and totally tear down their roster. Like, they're going to try to remain as competitive as possible, and they bring in Zach LaVine as a way of doing that. Zach LaVine's obviously having a tremendous season, and he'll help out the Kings. And in some ways, it's a pretty solid fit with his shooting ability. Like, they kind of just needed somebody who could space the floor like that. So I think you probably wanted a bit of a bigger return if you're the Kings. Probably wanted some better draft picks at the very least. Maybe a young guy, Sidy Cissoko is, whatever. But like a young guy like, Stephon Castle's name was mentioned, or even a Devin Vassell, like maybe they didn't want to pay him. Maybe they didn't want to pay him. I don't know, but Zach LaVine's an interesting fit on the Kings. I do kind of like it, honestly. I mean, I don't think this trade is gonna help them be like a very competitive team, Sacramento, that is. But they get out from a guy who wanted out. Kind of walked around it, but wanted out. Was as formal as possible and basically demanding a trade without demanding a trade. The Spurs get away like fucking bandits here. Like, the Spurs get away like bandits. They get De'Aaron Fox, their go-to guy, their guard of the future, paired alongside Victor Wembanyama, going to be a very, very good pairing. I'm assuming they're going to assign him to a contract, so he's going to be there long-term. And all they've given up in the process is 1 first-round pick that's going to turn into 2 second-round picks because of the protections, their own pick in 2027, and a 2031 Minnesota pick. They still have the Hawks pick this year. That might end up being good. They still have all the future Hawks picks, which might end up being good. They still have a 2030, I believe, pick swap with the Mavs, which might, who the fuck knows, that might be really good. It doesn't feel like the Spurs gave up any of their super valuable first-round picks. And they kept all of their young guys. Stephon Castle's still on the team. Devin Vassell's still on the team. Jeremy Sohan's still on the team. Now you're adding De'Aaron Fox into that mix. Just a huge trade. A huge win. A huge win for the San Antonio Spurs, who still have trade assets to go out and make other moves. Probably not now, but in the summer or whatever. I mean, I'm imagining right now Devin Vassell plus whatever contracts and picks for Lauri Markkanen, and now your team is fucking loaded. Fox, Castle, Markkanen, Sohan, Wemby. Or imagine this scenario. Fox, Castle, Flag, Markin, and Wimby. I mean, that's a championship team right there for the next 10 years. You have awesome content. What are your plans for the future? I mean, we're gonna keep pushing, man. We're gonna keep pushing. Are they going to rig the lottery for the Spurs? I hope not, man. I hope not. The Kings got fleeced. Players like Mikal for 5 picks. This is fucking absurd. Spurs managed to retain all of their youth. So the thing about, and I've tried to reason with this as well, is the picks are good. I think there are some teams that don't really value those that much. Because you look deeper into some of these picks, and some of them aren't good. Like, it's like, yeah, they get 7 picks, and some of them are swaps that will almost certainly never pan out, that you will never have. Some of them are like, oh, we got, like the 2027 Spurs pick. Like, that's probably not going to be good. Right? Like, realistically speaking, that's probably not going to be good. And in the Mikal Bridges trade, there was no interesting young player going back in return for that. Right? Like the Nets didn't get like, oh my God, we got Bojan Bogdanovic from the Knicks. Like, who gives a fuck? Right? So picks were the only thing of real value there. Like Zach LaVine's a player of value. He's a top 30 player in the league this season. Really good player who, yeah, probably does have value across the league still. And if you wanted to in the summer trade him, you could trade him. It's also why I look at the Mavs thing. Because immediately I was like, 3 first-round picks, huh? To this. The reality is, Anthony Davis is 10 times the value of a shitty first-round pick down the line, or even Zach LaVine in this scenario, or a shitty, heavily protected 2025 Charlotte Hornets pick. So that's kind of what I thought. The Bulls side of things, and I need somebody to explain this to me, because the Spurs did have their 2025 pick. But wasn't it top 10 protected? Bulls pick protection Spurs. Wasn't it top 10 protected? Yeah, top 10 protection for the Chicago Bulls on this pick. Did they think they weren't going to get that? Did they think they weren't going to land bottom 10 in the league? Where are they at right now? I don't think the Bulls know how to conduct basketball business. Did they know that was a top 10 protected pick? Currently, they have the 9th best odds. 9th best odds if the season were to end today. Now, if we look at the lottery, the pick odds, you have the 9th best odds. You have top 10 protected. You had a 3.1% chance of losing that pick. 3.1% chance of losing that pick. You're going to bottom out now after trading LaVine. Oh, man, this is nobody's going to give a fuck, because the Luka Doncic trade is going to dominate the talking points for the next month plus, probably 10 years. This is such a horrible ass trade for the Bulls. I mean, horrible. Terrible trade. I can't even grasp what the reasoning is behind it. Am I missing something? It's also possible that it's possible that maybe we're very much overvaluing Zach LaVine, and that maybe he wasn't that great of an asset still. But I don't know. The Kings just got him for De'Aaron Fox, so I'm assuming it is. But this feels like such a shitty ass trade. And it's not like they just cleared a ton of cap space. Like, Zach Collins has a shitty ass contract. Kevin Huerter has a disgusting contract. I think it's $36 million they'll have next year with these guys combined. Is the Bulls' last 10 years front office malpractice worse than what Nico did in the last 48 hours? The fact that you even have to think about that tells you everything. I don't understand this trade at all. I don't get it at all from the Bulls' perspective. If we even get one chip in the next 2 years, I'm at peace with this trade. I mean, I've said the same. Okay, all right. So wait, I just saw something that makes me understand this more. So by them getting this pick back, they owe the Spurs nothing. So if their pick was top 10 protected and they got a top 10 pick this year and they didn't get this pick back, then they still would have owed a future first to the Spurs. So now they don't owe anything to the Spurs. So that makes it make more sense. That makes it make a little bit more sense. Still a horrible ass return, though. Still a terrible ass return for Zach LaVine. I don't know how I feel about teams making trades to get their picks back so they can tank. Is that like great value, great return? Am I supposed to really celebrate that? Like, woohoo! We got our own pick back, guys. We can tank now. We traded away the best player on our team. Yes, for a chance at Cooper Flagg. Well, to be fair, if they got Cooper Flagg, they would have kept their pick. It does give flexibility, which makes sense. So Kenny hated it. Well, yeah, I mean, this trade signals. So what a trade like that signals to fans is, hey guys, we have carte blanche now to just bottom out and be fucking terrible for the next 3 or 4 years. We don't have to worry about losing a pick. That's what a trade like that means, basically. But it is like, look who you got in return. You got 2 guys on horrible ass contracts, really unmovable contracts, Zach LaVine and Kevin Huerter. So you wouldn't have celebrated the Hawks sending Trey for cap filler and their picks back? Celebrated it? No. Because then think about it. You're basically, in that scenario, when you just look at pieces in and pieces out, it would have been basically trading DeJounte Murray for Trae Young. Zach LaVine is a proper hooper. There's no way you can justify getting just those 3 assets for him, especially when teams have been fleecing for players worse than him. So I like it. I like the return for the Kings. I think I saw Kings fans that wanted more picks. I saw Kings fans who wanted better young players. I think De'Aaron Fox forced your hand a little bit. It doesn't help that he said he only wants to go to one place. You were never getting Stephon Castle. That was never happening. Sure, getting like a younger guy would have been cool. But Zach LaVine helps you out now. I think Zach LaVine's a pretty interesting fit on this Kings roster. Obviously, he's played next to DeRozan before. We know that. But what they need specifically, badly, is shooting. And I do like the Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, DeMar, Keegan Murray, Sabonis. That's an interesting team. Not like, that team's not going deep in the playoffs or anything like that, but DWK, you look like you've been crying. No, I don't. And no, I haven't. I think it's just the lighting. Unfollowing all Mavs account. Now I'm off to Lakers Nation. It's been a good time. Slightly go. Goodbye. This is I know. I mean, well, I don't know what anyone expects me to say when they come in here like, hey, man, really love your shit. Like, I'm unfollowing you now. It's like, okay, see ya. Like, what, you want me to throw you a fucking goodbye party on your way out? Like, what do you want me to say to that? Like, genuinely. What am I supposed to say to you? Like, hey, man, I'm not watching you anymore. It's like, okay. Congrats. Good luck. So, anyways, great deal for the Spurs. I'm very excited to see this. I'm hoping De'Aaron Fox has been struggling a little bit by his standards over the past month or so. It's a finger injury on his right hand. He's a lefty, but a finger injury on his right hand. I think that has most to do with it. But also, Kings fans have mentioned this. I've seen that he's looked checked out. He hasn't looked himself. I'm sure this lingering over his head probably has a lot to do with that. So let's see if there's another buy-in factor from De'Aaron Fox. And it's great for them in the long run, but I think the Spurs now become a real interesting team moving forward. I mean, you just added a top 30, top 40, definitely top 30 player in the league to your team for nothing. Like, you didn't lose really anything that affects you now. And when De'Aaron Fox is locked and loaded and ready to go, he's one of the best scorers in the league. What was that weekend where he scored over 100 points? More watchable league pass team the second half of the season after the trade settles in. Spurs or Rockets? Two of the best. Two of the best league pass teams there are. I mean, I'll always say Wemby. I think Wemby's the player that you have to tune into the most on any given night. And now you want to see how De'Aaron Fox fits into the equation. But the Rockets are, not only are the Rockets fun to watch, but it feels like they're always in some fucking late game. It's a 2-point game with 2 minutes left. It's 101 to 99. It's been just incredibly physical. There's been 4 different scuffles throughout the game so far. I just turned it on, and there's a scuffle happening right now. They're reviewing a play for a potential flagrant foul. Like, that's every Rockets game. And it is absolutely must-watch TV. Like, must-watch TV. The Spurs are going to be a huge free agent destination this summer in the future, not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, it's a good sign for them that De'Aaron Fox, who is going to be one of the most coveted, like, realistic free agents in 2026. Like, out of all the guys who could have moved, De'Aaron Fox being, like, felt like one of the most realistic guys who could get traded. Brian with the $5. Hey, my parents never watched b-ball, so I never followed NBA until recent news. Caught me everywhere. Watched your recent video and sub. New fan. Well, thank you, Brian. Thank you. That's a guy that we can celebrate. You come in here, hey, man, I'm out. I'm never watching you again. Okay. Goodbye. Somebody comes in, hey, man, just found you. Love you. Here's a donation. Like, I'm excited. That's what I like. That's something we can celebrate. And by the way, I know I'm goofing here, but I do appreciate the kind words. Like, when people are like, hey, man, I loved your content, but, I'm leaving. I appreciate the fact that you love my content, but I don't know what you want me to say in response to that. Sneaky Luka destination in 2026 if Lakers doesn't work out. It is. I mean, obviously, we're going to tune in to watch the Lakers when Luka makes his debut. But I do think that there's, a world that exists where Luka's not like, I'm signing an extension the moment I get in LA. Mavs getting him back? Yeah, no chance, man. I said in my video that it's more likely that Luka pulls his pants down his first game in Dallas and shits on the court than it is him returning to this franchise, probably ever. This was like a bridge getting burnt to the ground. Fox, 25 points this year. 32% from 3. Is frustratingly inconsistent at times because you see those flashes where it's like, dude, what is, like, why aren't you tapping into this all the time? Like, when you were just in bucket getter mode, you're one of the best scorers in the league. Can I be honest with you guys for a second? Talking about this Fox trade has me, I'm not gonna lie, I have butterflies right now. And I'm looking at the NBA slate of games tonight, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch basketball tonight. I'm going to watch basketball tonight. I'm excited. There's some spacing problems with this Kings lineup for sure. Don't get me wrong. Then I think of the Luka trade, and I feel an empty pit in my stomach, which I feel currently because I just thought about it. But then I see this, and I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be kind of fun, like seeing Fox and Wemby, and then I'm honestly pretty interested to see Levine on this Kings team. Like, I'm kind of in. I'm a little bit in. I'll argue the Lakers roster is better than the one that Luka beat the Suns. So I'm saving this for later, like really diving into the on-court stuff from this. I personally, immediately, I don't think the Lakers are very good. I do not think the Lakers are a very good team. But you don't make a trade like that to be good. Like, that trade is for the future of their franchise. No chance Fox plays today. Uh-oh. Finn's going crazy. He's causing a ruckus. Yeah, if they get a Claxton or a Kessler, which I don't think... I'm more leaning Robert Williams. Then that changes their dynamic. Finn just got the news. Maybe he's sort of been hibernating. You know, he's been sleeping this weekend, so... Finn, what are you doing, bro? Uh-oh. Oh, shit. I really have summoned him. Hey, Bubba. What are you doing? You want to come over here? You want to say hi to the people? Huh? Come here. You come here. He hates being up here when the lights are on. I don't know why. Oh. Jesus. Somebody just went in the litter box. God damn. Jesus. Just got a whiff of litter. Oh. Holy shit. I'm sure it's not my own breath. Although Finn's breath reeks sometimes. Still hilarious to see you, Nick, Kirk, Josh, etc. getting called Luka haters when all you were so pissed after the trade. Dude. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Would you eat cat litter to keep Luka? How dangerous is that for humans? How dangerous is that? Deadly? Super deadly? I'll live. I'd consider it. I'll consider it. Brett Siegel tweet. Who's Brett Siegel? I'm assuming you're not saying bro, he's going crazy. I'm assuming you're not saying used litter. Siegelbaum. LaMelo Ball and Paolo Banchero are among the various other stars many around the league are speculating about the Warriors having interest in. Okay. Okay. Whatever. The Warriors have been aggressive in their trade pursuit of Kevin Durant per Gambo. That's from Gambo. Then that actually means something. Yes, the Warriors have called on KD. They have been aggressive to see if they could pry him away. That is true. Several teams have called the Suns on KD, but Phoenix is still focused on a Butler Beal deal or other smaller deals if Miami won't budge on Jimmy. Wow. Anyways, man, my initial thoughts on the Fox trade is it's great for San Antonio. I mean, a fantastic trade, A+ move for the Spurs, even in a world where Fox doesn't really like pan out the way that you maybe expected. You didn't really give up much. You did not give up much. The only real concern is over the last 2 months, January onwards, Fox 20 points per game on really poor efficiency, 52% true shooting. So that would be your concern there. But I think, I mean, you got your guy. You know, you got your guy. You've been daydreaming about a lead guard for a while now. I'm sure if the Spurs are probably one of these teams that are like, fuck, man, Luka was available. Seriously, you guys didn't make that known. I'm sure they would have offered the sun and the moon for Luka Doncic. Would have made that trade sting even more, I think, in my opinion, if he got traded to the Spurs, because you know damn well you're going to see them for years to come. Levine is in no way better than Fox. No. Are people saying that? I think I've seen some people say that. If you're the Spurs, Luka Doncic, that ends your like building thing. It's Luka and Wemby. We're good. Like let's flesh out our roster. This is it. This is our fucking championship duo for the next 10 years. Fox isn't that guy, obviously, but he's still very good. Yeah, Fox playmaking isn't the best, but I mean it's still. They also need another guy who can score consistently on their roster, and that is De'Aaron Fox. For Zach LaVine, obviously he's had an incredible season, and it's only really gotten better over time. Like in the month of January, 27 points per game for him, 64% true shooting, 44% from three on very high volume. It's an interesting addition to this Kings team. Seriously, you kind of wish you got more, but I'm pretty interested in that. To be honest with you, what's Zach LaVine's realistic contract looking like right now? Well, he's under contract, so they don't have to worry about it currently. But he's got this year $43 million, next year $45 million, year after that $48 million player option. So, really not bad. I mean, he's 29 years old, about to turn 30. Long term, I don't know where this puts the Kings. No laughing matter at the 5. Honestly, believe Pelinka did some MK Ultra CIA mind control on Nico. It's the heist of his century. Ugh.